with Caitlin Clark for her birthday. Let's take a look at the post that they made.
Thanks, guys. Oh, there's a cake. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Caitlin. Happy birthday.
Take a closer look at the room behind her. Not one person is wearing generic Indiana Fever gear. No neutral team branding. No watered-down logos. Every single person is wearing Caitlin Clark merchandise, her logo, her number, her identity. That detail is not accidental. 6 months ago, this exact image would have been unthinkable. Teams were cautious. Players were hesitant. Brands kept their distance. Even league-owned social media accounts treated Caitlin Clark content like something radioactive. They didn't attack her, but they didn't amplify her either. Silence became the strategy. The clearest example came on January 22nd, 2024, her 22nd birthday. At that point, she was already the most talked-about player in women's basketball. Ratings were up, arenas were filling, jerseys were selling. And yet, the WNBA's official account said nothing. Not a post, not a story, not a tweet, nothing. That silence wasn't accidental. It was deliberate restraint. The league was trying to balance two competing realities: Caitlin Clark's overwhelming popularity and the internal fear that centering her too much would overshadow everyone else. So instead of leaning into the moment, they avoided it entirely. Fast forward 1 year, and that fear is gone. Now the league is comfortable showing exactly what the room looks like. Comfortable showing that her brand dominates. Comfortable acknowledging that she isn't just part of the Fever. She is the Fever's gravitational center. This shift tells you something critical. The league has accepted that resisting her visibility is no longer viable. Because when every camera angle, every fan interaction, and every merchandise table says the same thing, silence becomes dishonest. And dishonesty is far more damaging than imbalance.
Best thing ever, but the worst thing ever in terms of, overall general health. And as a man who a year ago got very, very fat and is now, slightly less, I think this would be dangerous for me. But just 2 years ago, Caitlin's turned 24, not 22.
This year, the league didn't just acknowledge her birthday, they celebrated it. Happy birthday to 5-time All-Star and Commissioner's Cup champion. That's what the post said. Predictably, critics jumped on one detail: the Commissioner's Cup mention. Technically, Clark didn't play in the final due to injury. And for some people, that was enough to try and strip the accomplishment away. But context matters. Caitlin Clark scored 32 points in the first half against the New York Liberty in the semifinal. Not the game, the half. That performance is the reason Indiana reached the final in the first place. Without it, there is no championship game. Period. Championships are earned over the course of a run, not a single box score. Trying to discredit her role isn't about accuracy. It's about discomfort. Discomfort with how fast she's accumulated accolades. Discomfort with how quickly she's become unavoidable. The league's decision to include that achievement wasn't careless. It was intentional. It was a league saying, we recognize what she contributed and we're not playing semantics to downplay it. That's a meaningful change.
They posted a happy birthday for Caitlin Clark. I think everybody was shocked by that. I think everybody was absolutely shocked by the WNBA page posting for Caitlin Clark's birthday, because they did not last year. I'm like 99% sure they didn't last year. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure they did not last year. Whereas this year, happy birthday, 2x All-Star and
At first glance, it looks simple. A cookie cake shaped like a basketball jersey. A teammate singing completely off-key. Caitlin Clark smiling as she turns 23, surrounded by friends, staff, and teammates wearing her merchandise. On the surface, it feels like nothing more than a routine birthday moment, something athletes post all the time. But this one wasn't routine. Not even close. Because for the first time in months, the Indiana Fever didn't hesitate. They posted it immediately. No filtering. No delay. No awkward silence. Even more importantly, the WNBA's official account acknowledged it openly. And that single decision tells you far more about the current state of the league than any press release ever could. This wasn't just a birthday post. It was a signal. For most of the past year, Caitlin Clark's presence inside the WNBA ecosystem has been treated like something volatile. Valuable, yes, but also uncomfortable. Her popularity disrupted the league's carefully balanced narratives. She drew attention that couldn't be controlled. She shifted media coverage away from long-established stars and toward a rookie who instantly became the center of gravity. And for a long time, the league didn't know how to handle that. So they hesitated, They minimized. They avoided amplification. There were moments when it genuinely felt like acknowledging her too loudly might upset the internal balance of the league. That hesitation became policy, whether officially stated or not, which is why this birthday post matters. Because hesitation is gone. The Fever didn't treat this like a risky PR decision. The WNBA didn't act like mentioning her name required strategic caution. Instead, they leaned in. They celebrated her publicly. They framed her as exactly what she is, a central figure in the league. That kind of shift doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens when internal resistance finally gives way to reality. The reality is simple. Caitlin Clark is no longer just a player in the league. She is a pillar of it. This birthday celebration wasn't just about her turning 23. It was about the league finally accepting what it can no longer avoid. She is the face people recognize. She is the name casual fans know. She is the draw that moves numbers, fills arenas, and drives conversation. And now finally, the league is acting like it.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like saying if who's won a ring and was injured for, it's like saying had the Pacers won. If the Pacers had won Game 7, that Tyrese Halliburton was not actually an NBA champion. Because, he got injured. Either way, I like the crazy.
There's another detail in these photos that most people missed. Caitlin Clark looks different. Stronger. Noticeably more muscular than she was last summer. That doesn't happen accidentally. Her trainers clearly put her through a serious strength program heading into year 2. And for most players, increased muscle mass is an unquestioned positive. More strength means more durability, more resistance to contact, better defensive presence. But Caitlin Clark isn't a normal player. Her game is built on deep-range shooting, 30-foot shots, tight margins, perfect mechanics. When your release point and muscle memory are that precise, even small physical changes can disrupt timing. We've seen this before. Steph Curry bulked up in 2015, and his shooting percentages dipped temporarily. Not because he became worse, but because his body had to recalibrate. Clark is likely going through the same process now. This isn't a mistake. It's a calculated risk. Build long-term durability now, accept short-term adjustment, and extend your career peak. That kind of planning only happens when a player and her team are thinking years ahead, not months.
Clark has... I didn't even realize just how much muscle Caitlin Clark had put on. At the end of the day, clearly she's being told to do that by her trainers. But, I did not realize just how much muscle Caitlin Clark had put on coming into year 2. It wasn't an amount that would affect a player whose game wasn't so based on fine margins. For how long Caitlin shoots from. The muscle side.
And here's the most important part of all. Caitlin Clark is the only major star choosing not to play anywhere else this year. No overseas league. No unrivaled. No exhibition tours. No bouncing between systems and time zones. Just training. While other players are adapting to new courts, new rules, and new competition, Clark is staying in one place, integrating new strength into her shooting mechanics, rebuilding muscle memory, refining timing. That isn't laziness. That isn't avoidance. That's long-term career management. She's treating her body like an investment. She's choosing sustainability over short-term exposure. And that decision aligns perfectly with the league finally choosing to embrace her fully. This birthday wasn't just a celebration. It was confirmation that Caitlin Clark and the WNBA are finally moving in the same direction.